Oh,
Okay, yeah,
okay.
starting. So you were telling me about this Chinese strategy regarding energy, right?
Yeah. Well, and the Chinese strategy to everything. Um, I've listened to the fellow Simon Michaud probably for about 15 years when I first encountered him in when he was still in Australia, and he was talking about resource depletion in the mining field. And so I've seen it from time to time, but I've been giving him a fair amount of attention the past 5 years. He got curious about China. There were some things about China's geopolitical activities in economics. He was like, what are they doing? And he went back into exploring a lot of documents and a lot of Chinese publications and information that's in the public domain. And it lines up with this idea that I was somewhat aware of because I remember back in the 1990s, the Chinese premier Deng Xiaoping created quite a stir because he began introducing capitalism into China in the 1990s. Uh, because I was involved in industry
Japanese,
that,
Japanese, I think he like went to Japan, right? Uh,
yeah, well, he traveled, he went to the UN, he looked at a lot of things. He was very thoughtful. Um, and he said, well, if we're going to develop, because they began in the 1990s, um, the world, well, the United States, Wall Street found it very advantageous to export jobs to countries with lower labor costs. And so um, the globalist the globalization of everything really began in the early in late 80s, early 90s, and the United States sent all as much work as they could to China because the pay rates were so low.
Mark,
And
sorry, like one point, because now, I said before that I'm reading this philosopher guy on Buddhism, right? And one point, just for me to remember, and maybe for our listeners, that there's like no United States, there's no like companies there, history, it's happening only in conscious, like there's you, me, and like if we believe, right, like in these mental models, it's
mhm,
because 8 billion people, and they see history like kind of differently, but because we have
mhm,
a school system, right, based on Germans, Prussians, right,
mhm.
basically to be so it's like kind of
Yeah, our most recent version. Yeah.
brainwashing, and there's like goes like internalization of like mental models, history, that there's like nation states, but it's kind of recent development. I don't think it's like 300 or what, 400 years.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, yeah, about 300 years or so.
Yeah, so when we are saying like United States and so on, there's like concrete, like real people, right,
Hmm.
who make these decisions. I don't
Oh,
know
yeah.
who, like maybe like 1% or something, who benefit, right, like Q bono. So there's like
Yeah.
kind of I don't know who these guys. Maybe like
Well,
it was like you know what I'm saying, because when we say
well,
like United
yeah.
States, the Russia, China, it's like but like
Well,
Adam Smith talked that um, there's like labor, he like thought about like system like inside of United States, But all this like connection, right, system, like links, it can be like stakeholders in other countries. So
Hmm.
it's basically like who do you think like was instead of United States? Do you know some like concrete
Well,
people?
well, if you go in that direction, there are there are people who hold some of those views that a small cohort of people um, exerted a tremendous amount of control over everything. And I think that's what you're pointing to is who really runs everything. That transnational, the nations don't matter. The nations are creations. The nation states are creation, but there's people that are supranational, that are above, that are pulling strings all over the place.
Yeah, like their division of labor, right? We thought Adam Smith like it's inside of nation state borders, but it's not correct, and it's like globally, right? So there's like some corporation, there's like like Milton Friedman or his like talk about
Well,
like the pencil, how it's like components like to United States come like for I don't know like 100 suppliers or something, graphite and so on.
well, yeah, I'm getting confused because we're jumping back and forth in levels of abstraction and different logical types, and I'm not sure how to proceed because I'm not really tracking your um, all of the different different ideas you're trying to bring into one pot.
Yeah, yeah. I just think about, like when we talk about like China versus US or like China versus Russia or something, it's like abstractions. So it's like when we
Well,
believe,
yeah, but they're abstract. They're abstractions,
but
but
people
they
believe
bring
in them.
about they bring about concrete behaviors and concrete actions.
Yeah, because people believe in that.
Yeah, yeah, and and the and so for all practical purposes,
Hmm. Yeah, it's simpler to say
we
like
can
United
treat them.
States,
We can
but
Yeah, we can treat these countries as entities because they do behave as entities in the world, even though there may be some higher level of influence and coordination kind of moving them.
But what consists of like nation, like for example United States or like Russia? If like you ask like people like would they like to like have a war with I don't know like in Venezuela? I think most of them say no, right?
Correct.
But there's still something happening, or like in
There's
other
something
Middle
happening.
East, Ukraine, Russia, China. So but when we say United States, for some kind of people, Americans, they associate them with this like nation state, but they
Hmm.
basically don't decide
Yeah, this is something that I've been thinking about a bit because in this country right now, um, the country has been effectively really fragmented. It has been there's been a progressive or a developed and a developing path of taking cultural aspects and different worldviews that reside in any country and amplifying them. And that's
Mm-hmm.
been going on for 30 years at least. Some of it began with Fox News in the 1990s, and CNN began. And there's been a purposeful, it began with Fox News with Rupert Murdoch finding that he could make money by making people upset. He could generate, he could, he
Mm-hmm.
could, he could have an editorial policy and a perspective that was directed at a particular group of a nation state, and he could aggravate them. He could present events in a way that would activate their anger and frustration and their sense of being wrong or
Mm-hmm.
being injured. And he could sell a lot of advertising by doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And he owned newspapers in many places. And I think he actually owns I think he owns the Wall Street Journal too. Rupert, the Murdoch publishing empire. He started out in Australia and spread around the world. A very toxic money-making methodology.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's one could say it's part of the colonialization of the colonizing nations. When they ran out of place to colonize, they had to colonize themselves. And colonization always involves destroying the prevailing shared culture.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's been going on for 30 years. And so as a result, we have in the United States in particular, we have these very, very highly energized groups that have been trained, and partially as an outcome of universal education, like you were talking about. We're trained to follow orders. We're trained to behave in certain ways in school. We're
Mm-hmm.
trained to believe ideas that are presented to us in a certain way, and we repeat them back. And so that's been used effectively by certain people.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just take the press to shape public opinion and to have people divide and rule, have people fighting with each other.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting
And
because what you're saying, it's valuable because you have like a different kind of upbringing. And I read this book, not fully, but like half of this book. Maybe you're familiar. It's like from sociology, the social construction of reality, by Peter Berger and Thomas Luckmann. No? Are you familiar?
not familiar with. I'm familiar with the concept. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically reality like constructed by like other
Mhm.
people, right? There's like
Mhm.
these institutions, it's only like in our head. And even like when
Mhm.
you look at I don't know, something Wall Street, some people say no, but there's like it's like external to our conscious. But no, like our conscious, like there's like interpretation happening, right?
Right. Yeah.
So it's all happening like in our head. It's like, you know, you have something like some thought, yeah, you want like to, I don't know, to on basic level to eat in one place, to go toilet to another. We agree with each other. I have like some
Mhm.
internalization and like
Mhm.
objectivation happening when we talk about, and like I agree. And then we taught this to our children, right? For example, to
Mhm.
down to the
Right.
generation, but they
Yeah.
haven't created it, and they think it's some kind of, you know, law of nature that we eat here like in a kitchen, or like go to
Hmm.
toilet there, but it was constructed. So, and we go like down to the generations like 10 or like 20, and we think, that there's like always was no nation state, always was like schools, always was like concept of there's like a children, but it's again, it's a label.
Right. Yeah. Even the idea of childhood, a
Yeah,
period of time for a child, and then there's
yeah,
adolescence.
teenage, it's all like created, it's constructed.
And they're ways of it's the ways of how we there seems to
Internalization.
be there's an underlying biological reality. We don't imagine trees into existence. They're not a figment of our imagination. Trees
Something
and
something there, but we don't know. Like tree, it's a label, right? It's like
right,
and
but
for
there's an underlying ground of reality, and through our senses and all, we perceive that somehow,
Mhm.
and 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 we may be we may be a little different as far as species, that we may be cursed with a little more compulsion to try and make sense out of life.
Mhm.
Most of the insects and the animals go about their business, and as far as we know, they're not having conversations like this about the nature of their life or the nature of what they're doing in this
Yeah, we
world of
don't know. Like I read some books like
we
with
don't know.
Bateson on when he researched dolphins in
Right. Yeah, there's more going on than we give credit.
yeah, and
But
they have like like logical typing. They can like go to this
mhm,
learning tree,
right.
some other like
Hmm.
levels like humans. But yeah, I don't know on this
But
topic much. So
but
yeah,
the thing is, there's everybody is inhabiting something. We're inhabiting some some ground of existence.
you mean like
And
genetic stuff, like
no, I mean, you walk out the door, you go into the woods, and you're two people go into the woods, and they're experiencing something,
yeah, something, but it differs
and
like
there may be, that like our color perception may be different. We may not be seeing, we may not be interpreting the frequencies of electromagnetic spectrum the same. So my blue might be a little different than your blue, but as a child, we were coerced, we were trained into calling a certain experience blue so that we could talk about it.
yes, yes, yes.
And so what a lot of people have trouble with is when adults are interacting with children, drawing from them and reinforcing language, there's a coercive aspect to it, because they get rewarded for using the right words.
Yeah, yeah.
But we have to use the right words in order to negotiate our shared experience. And so it's like, oh yeah, well, we're teaching them. Yeah, but we're also limiting them. We're also forcing them into pathways,
Yeah, how to see the world. And
how to see the world. And
in
that's
the big
culture.
yeah, in the beginning was a world. right? Like I
Yeah.
think.
In the beginning, there's something. There's a universe, there's a world, and in
I mean,
order
like,
for us to,
yeah, I mean, like John,
you know,
like 1:1, I think in the Bible, right?
hmm, right, yeah. But so we're all kind of stuck with being. Um, we're also, in my view, we're all kind of stuck arriving in some place that's a big mystery, and for some reason, we're dedicated to continuing to live. There's something impelling us to survive, and that survival involves finding something. I think I'll have another cookie.
Yeah, yeah, like
Is
cookies. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody grew the oats, somebody grew the oils, the seed oils, somebody
Mm-hmm.
grew, the cranberries, somebody made it, somebody refined the oil to make the plastic container. There was a multitude of people cooperating that provided this little inappropriate breakfast food for me today.
Yeah, and it was all like, yeah, socially constructed. And I mean, like, it's
Yeah.
great that we can, like, we have some of these books that's open, like, this kind of, like this hidden stuff that you can, like, rethink it, like, to be, like, have a reflection on how we think about things, right? About,
But
like,
not everybody does what we're doing. Not
yes,
everybody thinks about the thinking.
yes, yes. They believe in their, like in philosophy, I think there's like schema or like a mental model,
Hmm.
and you just
Hmm.
believe in that you're like, I don't know, Russian, Jew, American, male, or
Yeah.
something about these constructs. But there was
Yeah.
like, because you were born like in this age and place, um, people
Hmm.
believed there was, yeah, no nation states. It was crazy, like, I don't know, 500 years ago, go to some war, I don't know, like
Hmm.
in French, right? They have like all these different languages, but now there's like only like French, but they have like a
Right.
different kind of tribes.
Just,
uh, yeah, and it's just interesting because when you talked about China, yeah, and I sent you like this. At first, I listened to this like professor. I don't know from where he is, from China or Canada, and yeah, he was basically talking about China. Right, again, a lot of different ethnicities speaking different kind of language, but
mhm.
now they have like this nation state, and how it's like, uh, have you listened to it? No, about like banking or not?
I listen. I think I'm on to like his fifth episode.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah. 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 And a lot of what he has to say makes sense. Aligns with a lot of things I've observed and a lot of my less than optimistic views about the future, particularly in the industrial West.
yeah, it's
Um,
interesting because you're like valuable, have because you have kind of slightly different, kind of internalization. Because, for example, school system, yeah, there was obviously some kind of brainwashing, but it was kind of different to current,
yeah.
brainwashing.
Well, yeah, the term brainwashing is kind of emotional. It's kind of a charged term,
Yeah, yeah.
and brainwashing usually takes place at a smaller scale.
Hmm.
Let's
What would you
just
call it?
I would call it cultural conditioning
Conditioning. Okay.
or being trained.
Mm-hmm.
And the training involves language, physical behavior, the architecture of the environment. The
Mm-hmm.
architecture plays a big role in shaping behavior
I
because
like.
you have hallways, you have doorways, you have, and in a certain way, I've looked at the school system, at least in this country, for a long time, as every school is basically a complex of Skinner boxes.
Hmm. You know what I
They're
have on my
conditioned
table?
response. What's that? Oh yeah. Okay.
Pavlov. You know Pavlov, like 20 years of like researching on dogs and
Pavlov. Oh,
chimps.
Pavlov. Yes.
Pavlov, yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
kind of big
Oh,
book.
can I tell you a joke?
Okay, yes.
A joke about Pavlov? Okay. Here's the joke. Pavlov's it's evening. Pavlov is sitting in the bar having a drink.
Okay,
The telephone rings.
okay.
Pavlov jumps up, runs out of the bar screaming, "Shit, I forgot to feed the dogs."
Yeah, it's yeah, it's working
It's working.
both ways, right?
Exactly. It's a feedback. Yeah.
Yeah, it's feedback loop. So yeah, I know because you
Yep.
talked about Skinner. I think Skinner was kind of based on when I think Pavlov, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Research.
Yeah. 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 Condition response behavioral stuff. Yes. And to an extent, that's the Prussian system of education that we adopted here, and most modern world
Hmm.
uses. Um, and when it was adopted here, I know a little bit of the history of it. Um, it came into existence when probably when the Kaiser when Germany lost the latest war between France and Germany, and so France then took the Alsace-Lorraine again, and the German ruler was really pissed off that the Germans they'd lost because they'd won the last time. I mean, it would just go back and forth for and um, and so there was a philosopher named Fichte, Fichte, in Germany, and and so he was brought in from the university and said, "I want you to find out why we lost the war." And so this philosophy professor went off and did some survey work and did some question. Anyway, he did research and he came back and told the Kaiser. He says, "Well, we lost the war because the German soldiers weren't obedient enough. They wouldn't, just go and charge to their death. They wouldn't follow orders well enough."
Hmm.
And he says, "Well, how do we fix that?" And he says, "Well, I don't know. Let me go give it some thought and talk to some people." And they came up with the idea of that's where the mandatory universal education came from, was that question: how could the German army be more obedient in the next war with France? And so they set up this mandatory, highly regimented, do things in this way, and it worked.
Yeah.
And so it started to be copied different places. And when the industrialization of the U.S. was really coming along,
Hmm.
they were having some of the same trouble that they had in England in getting people to leave the countryside to come into the horrible cities and work in the factories. They were having a hard time selling the program to the people. And so the U.S. The business people and the U.S. government agreed, and the government says, well, they're doing this over in Prussia, and it works really well. People are obedient. They learn to read and write, do some math, make some workers. And so let's do that. And they sent letters. The U.S. government, the people implementing this educational system, sent letters to some of the heads of industries. The only letter that was still in existence went to the man who owned the Southern Pacific Railroad, Henry Huntington, in California, reassuring him that this educational system was not meant to teach children how to think.
Really? There's such letter?
Really? Yeah. Really. Reassuring these heads of industries that they were training them to go to work for a period of time, to follow directions, to know how to read, to know how to write, know how to do some arithmetic, so that they could contribute to this industrialization process.
So follow orders, basically.
And my friend who's visiting, he's listening to this. He was a high school teacher.
Interesting.
And I don't know whether he agrees with this or not, but
I do.
He does.
It's interesting. This like professor, like Chinese guy, he also mentioned like Aztecs, like Central America and Sparta. Like I didn't hear about this. Maybe it's kind of similar, but yeah, I think more it's about Prussian.
Yeah, he talked about the Aztecs, the Spartans, some of the educational methods, the pedagogies, if you will, the educational frameworks for extremely warlike states, extremely warlike peoples, and really normalizing levels of bonding. I mean, I recognized when I went through basic training in the military, they did that very small scale. They shaved our heads. They took away everything that gave us any identity. They subjected us to abuse together, shared abuse, and rewarded us for doing things, they broke us into squads, like there were 4 lines, 4 groups. I was a squad leader, so they subjected us to a certain amount of abuse, and I was in the Air Force, so they were easy on us. But in the more direct combat oriented, the Army and the Marines, they were much harsher. The abuse was greater, but the camaraderie was greater. And so, yeah, Jang was talking about these, some of these, like the Spartan methodology, and also the emotional bonds that are formed, and the loyalty. Shared hardship is great for connecting people, real, shared surviving hard things together creates very deep bonds and loyalties. So I agree with him there. He took that further and into, and to a certain extent, what I can't figure out about Jang is he's only talking about the West. He's not talking about China. And he's talking about the West is going to collapse.
Oh, I haven't listened. I only listened like first lection on the banking system and happiness, and he talked about China in some way. So maybe later on he focuses more on West.
Later he focuses, and I can't decide whether he's actually um,
CCP
a psyop.
propaganda.
Yeah, he could be a psyop.
Yeah,
He
it's
could be a
it's possible. Yeah,
he could be a branch of Chinese psychological warfare.
yeah, it's
The way it's just because of the way he's kind of shaping it and the emphasis he's giving
hmm.
and the interpretation he's drawing. But a lot of the underlying stuff I see and I understand and I go, yeah, okay, all right, that's an interpretation that could be drawn from that. And so I'm listening to him with interest, but also with skepticism.
Yeah, it's interesting mostly for me, like that he took a lot of like Michael Hudson and Graeber ideas. I think he read them about, like money, what is money, and there basically
Mm-hmm.
we think like from our upbringing from schools that there's like scarcity and of money, but basically they're like limitless by the click of, you can print them
Yeah,
and.
but but the belief system that ascribes that attaches a sense of value to the particular coin or piece of paper that has a number on it is the
Or
crucial part. Because yeah, you can print all the paper you want, but can it buy anything? Will anybody give you anything for it that's tangible?
yeah, and they're like printing, and we have like yeah, there's like but there's like scarcity of natural resources, right? He talks about food. Basically, there are a lot of wasted,
There's
but
plenty of
there's
food. Yeah, yeah,
still like
yeah,
I don't know, like a lot of
yeah,
people don't have food security.
yeah, and a lot of that is contrived because if people can't pay for it, you don't get it, and so they, it's he's got a particular point of view, and again, he's so far he's completely divorced from the natural world and from resources and
Hmm.
from energy.
But like basically, right? Money is debt. So like I showing you like this, I don't know, dollar bill, and you want to take it, right? But you will be indebted to me to
Hmm.
deliver some product or service, right? And then you will show
Right.
this dollar bill to another person. So basically, it's anonymous debt, right?
Hmm.
So they just printing debt, and people they're like there's a rat race to get this bill, right? And they're like indebted, so they like making stuff services because like in other ways, if there's like will be like infinite, right, nobody will work like it was before
Hmm.
when people like
Yeah.
sitting I don't know, somewhere under coconut tree or or somewhere, like enjoying their life, they're making their own food stuff, and living in more symbolic world, right, in some god
Hmm.
spiritual. It's like,
Right.
this their how is the line, like I think in Bible, you like have saturation from spiritual stuff. You know about this?
And a good argument could be made that that people living in those ways had more meaning in their lives.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
a shared belief system about how things work, what the purpose of the human was, and how we go about it. It was small scale, very local, and not very abstract.
yeah, and not like collective, right? Not like individualism and this bonding. Yeah, but then like like Graeber describes, for example, in Madagascar, they're living their way, like they're treating their like elders and so on, like some rituals,
Hmm.
gods,
Hmm.
and then French came
Right.
and tell,
Yeah.
okay, guys, you need to plant these seeds,
Yeah.
or we kill you. Okay, and then you
Right.
need to pay educational. It's called, I think, educational tax, like
Hmm.
to make you civilized. Ah, no, no,
Right.
civilized taxation. uh, so
Yeah.
you need
Basically, yeah.
to return this coin
Right.
basically at the end of the
Hmm.
year, and
Yeah.
but these coins you can take from soldiers or like
Hmm.
merchants, our French merchants. So in order to
Right.
get this coin, you need to produce goods that
Hmm.
required by soldiers or our merchants,
Right. Yeah.
or we kill
Yeah.
you basically. And
Yeah.
what you left, some kind of change, spare change, you can
Right.
buy like this kind of what's the French, they have like this aroma, how say, like
Oh, perfume,
perfume, yeah, or some
perfume
kind
and
of,
cologne.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, some kind of our products,
Hmm.
some like from Chinese merchants, uh,
Oh, spices and things. And,
ointment, pomade, pomade,
yeah. Oh,
pomade,
pomade for the hair. Yeah. Yeah.
or for lips,
Oh,
what,
for lips. Oh, okay. Okay.
yeah, so you have some kind of, um, okay, we basically like enslaved you, but you have some kind of like now it's basically TikTok reels, or like a new kind of
Yeah.
Gucci, so
Right.
some kind of,
Hmm.
this shiny thing.
Yes. Right. Yeah. Basically the message is to people who are living very, very well together. The message is everything you know is wrong. Let us teach you how things
Yeah.
really are. And the argument is that in Europe and in the United States and in Australia and in the countries that were actively colonizing other places, they ran out of places to colonize.
Yeah.
And so they had to colonize themselves. They had to turn around and colonize their own population and tell them, oh, everything you were doing before is wrong. You have to do it new this way. And oh, everything you're doing now is wrong. You have to do it new this way. And along the way, they're extracting value for a limited group of people from
Hmm.
their own people. It's a form of cannibalization.
Because same mentality, same mental models, and
Hmm.
you just like run away, like there's like loop, right? uh, it's I think in Germany, before Second World War, there's first they came to like gypsies, then they came something, and uh, basically a few iterations, and then they will come to you, knock on
Hmm.
the door. But basically it's the same pattern. If you,
Same pattern.
if
Same
you're,
pattern. Yeah.
yeah, if you're okay that I don't know, like in some like Middle East there's like something happening, or in your country, in some far part of region, something happening with these
Hmm.
guys, they're like harassing them, I don't know, like
Right.
in Chicago, or like in Oregon, Portland, or in some part of Russia. It's wait, like I don't know, like a few years, maybe it can happen to you personally.
Yeah. And part of that is again, let's let's go back to the
Hmm.
parasitic. Let's go back to um, the idea that people in people have always had some material needs.
Hmm.
everything that lives has to eat, and everything that lives has to try and avoid being eaten. Now
Yeah,
we can talk.
basic
Yeah,
requirements like food,
yeah. Basic
heat,
requirements is I have to eat, I
heat.
create some waste, and I have to avoid something else that wants to eat me because we're all food.
Hmm.
At the fundamental level, it's an energy exchange system, and
Yeah.
there's the transfer of energy is one of the main ways that happens is eat. And everything that I eat used to be alive.
Hmm.
We can argue about the level of consciousness that it had, but everything I eat was alive, had been alive at one time.
Hmm.
And there were things that, I mean, I'm living in the woods now, and I get ant bites, I get bites, there's things feeding on me that are noticeable. And there's also things trying to feed that are feeding on me that are microscopic. I mean, I'm breathing in and I'm exposed to bacterias and viruses and things that see me as food.
Yeah, how it called?
And,
You have like a basic like a metabolic rate, and in order to keep this like
mhm.
kind of level of order, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You
that
need.
maintain the integrity of this system. That
Yeah.
it has a degree of separation from everything else, but is also completely interfaced
Yeah,
with
open
everything else.
system. Yeah.
Open system, interconnected, and everything is busy eating, and everything is busy trying not to be eaten, or at least manage the amount of consumption that's being taken from it to maintain this system's viability.
Yeah, it want to
Until
replicate, right? Like if we
yeah, right. And we can go to McGilchrist's hemisphere theory about one hemisphere is concerned with that eating and with the concrete and the very specific, and the other is concerned with the big picture to avoid being eaten. The two hemispheres. But
Mhm.
um, and and that the one that's concerned with the big picture has got the more accurate sense of what's going on than the concrete one that's taken over. But so we're in this, and so certain typically, so everything's a predator, and to a certain degree, everything is prey. Even apex predators are being preyed upon by ticks and fleas and microscopic, viruses, bacteria. Everything is in this energetic exchange system.
Mhm.
Bring in some species like us, and I thought the really interesting thing was this fellow that was talking about the sacrifice issue. That when he early in hominids, early in humans and Neanderthals and the other varieties of two-legged creatures like us that cooperated to some degree, that we weren't very good at hunting. Before
Mhm.
we really kind of got an idea of napping flint and actually making some effective weapons, we were mainly prey.
Mhm.
And the person was saying, if you've ever seen a herd of animals that are prey, when the lions come or whatever and they take one, they the hunt ends and everybody in the herd is okay, and they see one of their herd mates being eaten,
Mhm.
they're okay. He was saying that there's this idea of the sacrificial, that 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 Raymond was sacrificed so that we could live.
Yeah, because it's like a whole, like a genetic pool, right? On what
Yeah,
level of like abstraction you think, okay, it's me, like Nikita, and everything like you're separate. You other guys, like my neighbor, so only me, right?
me,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Or just like but yeah, it's like we can think about like by genetic, right? There's like, you know, like whole humanity like a body. For example, I don't
Hmm.
know, some philosophers, they're like a brain, right? Some people, I don't know, they keep something, acquire resources, or they basically, I don't know, like a spine on what, like they maintain some rituals, you know, something like more like uh, I don't know, like some hands, like they grab something, you know, like or like traveling, right, like exploration. You know, like there's like some kind of new theories basically, but maybe a lot of like majority is just like kind of redundant, you know, like a
Hmm.
genetic pool. They're not contributing something new, maybe like
Hmm.
some kind of like philosopher or something, scientist, like brain, right, like not a lot of people, but still it's like kind of important if we look at like a whole
Well,
humanity, right?
that's how, I mean, that's how the species continues, is by doing a lot of similar things over and over again,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
because they work. Because we do this way in this valley, let's say, in a small group. A small group finds a way for the group to survive and for a certain number of children to be born, some infant mortality, but there's reproduction, there's replenishment of the tribe. The tribe continues because they interact with their environment in ways that they have found promote their survival. We do it because it allows us to keep living and for our group to continue. And so why would we change? This works.
Yeah, yeah,
We don't want to we don't want to mess this up too much. We don't want to experiment too much because this works.
adaptive,
And
right?
yeah, and we have generations of proof that it worked.
Yeah.
So innovation is not. I don't think innovation is historically valued in those kinds of settings.
It just, you know, like you're talking about hemispheres and, you know, about like conscious purpose, or like you know, when it's kind of um, on genetic, right? It's like a very slow, like kind of program that's not too like adaptive to fast changes, you know, like our conscious, like a language, like you know, like a mimetic or like genetic.
Mimetic, yeah, right, yeah,
Yeah,
hmm,
mimetic, and we are like
yeah.
very quick to adapt and all this like kind of.
Except that in the past, I don't think they were quick. Mimetic structure. You can look at a culture as
Mhm.
well. I understand. The classic idea of a meme is that it's a cultural artifact. It's a little piece of culture.
Mhm. Mhm.
It can be conceptual or it can be physical. I mean, this is kind of
Idea, or
a
yeah, yeah, it's like what
yeah.
replicates, what can be
What
replicated
yes, what can be replicated and what replicates, and that's the transmission of when
in other
going back
conscious.
going back to teaching language to children. That's a transference of
Yeah,
mimetics.
yeah, 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 structures, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a replication. And in a simpler environmental setting, there that mimetic complex that is the culture doesn't change that much. And if innovation is not a part of that mimetic, if continuity, the cycles of nature, the um, the way that they have come into relationship with that which keeps them alive, works, and they have leisure time and they do their social, however they set up family structures, however they craft a way together to survive in a place over time, that mimetic structure is rather durable.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that mimetic structure may be not being open to change.
Yeah, but basically, maybe there's happening some mutations when you're transferring it from one head to another, but still it's
Mm-hmm.
like holds.
It,
But
yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
changes can be very great, you know, like original maybe.
yeah. But when the European shows up with the cross and the musket,
Yeah.
then the whole mimetic structure gets shattered.
Yeah. Original message, right? Of the Christ.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like yeah, our God is better than your gods, and he gave us the bullets to prove it.
Yeah. So you know, like there's like content and form, right? By a form, it can like replicate. By content, it's changed, right? Original message,
Mm-hmm.
like turn other cheek, and give like your T-shirt or something. How it's called? Yeah, when something.
Yeah. Give your shirt to yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah, give your
clothes.
shirt.
Yeah. Give the
Yeah,
shirt off.
yeah, so there's like the content form, but then
Mm-hmm.
this we have same form, same symbols, like signs, right, across
Mm-hmm.
and other stuff, but the content kind of different. Maybe they have it like in books, but not in their heads, you know, not like as mental model, and your like your behavior corresponds like with aligned with this book,
Mm-hmm.
but for example, you haven't changed same behavior as like
Mm-hmm.
before, like eye for an eye, right? And we see that it's 2000 years, it's same stuff.
Well, yeah. There's if
But
we
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
we have changed a little bit because you know it's on this, because on mimetic and religion. I remember I read about Axelrod. I think Robert Axelrod experiments like tests in computer regarding behavior. It's in book of Richard Dawkins, The Selfish Gene, and
Okay.
there's like a strategy eye for an eye, and turn other cheek another strategy, and there's like at first you like cooperate, then if person cooperates you cooperate too, or like you know eye for an eye, he cheats you cheat, or
All right.
strategy
Yeah.
always cheat, that works only
Mm-hmm.
like on short, where there's short interactions. You will never see this person
Right.
again, you're not in one tribe, and it's
Right.
yeah, it's just interesting how like these strategies work in real life when there's, you know, yeah, you said that now it's changing really fast, right? Mimetic structures, maybe because of
Mm-hmm.
we have these mediums, right? Internet, radio, and so on. What Marshall
Yeah.
Mcluhan talked about, how they're
Mm-hmm.
like shape us and amputate uh, like something in us, right? I using like a navigator, maps, Google Maps, like to navigate, basically,
Yeah.
and now I can't orient
I don't remember phone numbers anymore.
yeah, same. But I remember
That
before I remember
that
it.
capacity is that's atrophied. That capacity. uh,
Do you have amputation in English? You know? amputation. I think the
Yeah,
term he
yeah,
used.
amputation. Yeah, it's an
Amputation.
English term. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's from French.
Atrophy is kind of, just
Yeah.
dwindles,
Yeah.
decays, or just shrinks, um, becomes weak.
Yeah, so it's, and we are coming to this like moment when it's great. I mean, it's very interesting that you mentioned this letter to some kind of this railroads
Hmm.
oligarch, and
Yeah.
because school basically, right? It's on some level, it's like amputates some schools, not all, your thinking, right?
Hmm.
They're like giving,
Yeah.
okay, you need like doing this test, this is correct answer, only one answer is correct. For example,
Hmm.
in my school, other like solution or your own like original solution, it's always wrong, and so on.
Yes.
It's kind of two kind of medium, and now we have like a next level with so-called AI, right?
Yeah.
And people more and more use it, and basically as Google Maps amputate our like navigational skills, right? It's amputates our thinking, like for
Yeah.
ourselves, right? We
Yeah.
delegate it to this system,
Hmm.
and
And
even
convenience is incredibly seductive.
yeah, yeah.
We get seduced by convenience, and one could say that it's a natural function, that it's exploiting the maximum power principle.
You mean like what is it? It's like conserving energy, don't wasting resources, like.
Yeah. Yeah, the maximum power principle is part foundational to biological life and null entropy. It's getting expending the least amount of energy for the maximum energetic return.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
That's how life works. Otherwise, it couldn't accumulate and become more complex.
mm-hmm.
You build these structures that we seem to find ourselves in, and we are one, because we're actually gaining more than we're expending. And that's the, you know, and people are familiar with that in business, and some people are familiar with it in energy returned on energy invested.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's the same in everything. And convenience, when it's like Schmachtenberger talks about, if there's a technology that gives a benefit, a survival benefit, then it becomes obligate. Everybody eventually has to use it, or your tribe is outcompeted by another group.
Mm-hmm.
And I have friends who are like, "Oh, AI is such a," but they're beginning to use it when they have a schedule crunch.
Mm-hmm.
It, I have some friends who are in school or doing, or the fellow here is doing grant applications for trying to get money for some of the programs here.
Mm-hmm.
And questions are weird, and he's given the questions over to AI to get some framework of answer so he can answer the grant. And so the large language models and these analytical models are just are creeping in because we're under time pressure, and it says, oh well, I can just use this to help me meet this short-term goal, and that's how this mimetic changes invade and displace um, other ways of doing things.
Yeah, it's already, I think, like almost happened. It's interesting what we will have like in 5 years, in 10 years, um, how it
Yeah.
affects, because social media they like sold it, selling this like oh, you will have like friends and so on. It will be great,
Hmm.
Facebook and so on.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I had a friend I had a friend recently who was scammed out of some money
Hmm.
because apparently the scam was he received a telephone call,
Mm-hmm.
and the person on the other end had an accent and claimed to be a member, part of a drug cartel, and they had kidnapped his daughter,
Oh.
and they used AI because right now, as I understand it, it only takes 3 seconds of your speech,
Mm-hmm.
and and AI can synthesize your speech to be pretty good.
Yeah.
And we're seeing this on the internet. There's all these famous people. There's like these channels that are supposedly
Yeah.
Joe
Yeah.
Rogan
Yeah.
or different people. Richard Attenborough. You know, uh, Utz, all these bogus channels. In these voices, and they supposedly put his daughter on the phone,
Mm-hmm.
telling telling her father that they had her
Mm-hmm.
in her voice, right? And so they'd done a lot of Facebook research.
Mm-hmm.
They'd figured out who was who and where they were, and they were their script was so good and so terrorizing and so disorienting for my friend that he screwed up two money transfers, and every time he screwed one up because he was so agitated and so terrified,
Mm-hmm.
asked for more money. You're They accused him of trying to trick him and all this stuff, and it was just this long string of abuse and swearing and threatening what they were going to do and torture, and a couple of days later, and my friend is still recovering from that trauma.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter was at home,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you and she actually lives with them. I mean, she's like 30 years old, but she still lives with her parents, and
Mm-hmm.
and so, um, but their script was so good, and then like 3 days later, I got a newsletter from one of from Malware Bytes, one of the malware screening secure online security services,
Mm-hmm.
talking about just how many people are being attacked because of AI, and how sophisticated the scams are becoming, and exactly the one he was subject to.
Mm-hmm.
But and it's like, um, in this country, you cannot answer a phone. You cannot answer the phone if you don't know the number that's calling you.
Mm-hmm.
Do not answer the number. Do not answer anything if it's not in your phone book, if you don't know who they are. Because even if you say hello and they ask you, when there's
Same,
something,
same, same in Russia. Same in
you
Russia.
say hello several times, or you ask who is this, they've got your voice.
Hmm. But yeah, they can find it even in the internet. But yeah, like some kind of
Oh
okay,
yeah, you and I are
yeah,
giving them all they need.
training data. Yes.
Yeah, training data. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and yeah, but basically, yeah, there's they can call there's some kind of poll. Okay, what like
Yes,
do you
right.
like? And yeah, there's like training data.
Yeah.
And yeah, they can do not only scamming, but because like I heard like in Russia it's crazy there. you know I don't know, it's like I think we have an Russian call center, but like in the news, they say that in Ukraine there's because in Russia there's like a lot of oil and other stuff, natural resources, and kind of
Hmm.
it's like people maybe more like fat and lazy, I mean, but Ukraine, it was like saying more like industrious because they have like has less natural resources and they have a lot of like these bodies in crypto stuff
Mm.
and like telemarketing, like
Oh,
these
okay.
call
Yeah.
centers and it's like scamming and a lot of kind of schemes.
Hmm.
And basically at first there was like scamming like this CIS region, right? Commonwealth of basically USSR, right? What
Hmm.
CIS, like this region, like Russia, Kazakhstan, and so on.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Hmm.
Commonwealth of Independent States or something it's called, like
Okay.
countries that were like in Soviet Union. Yeah,
Right.
and they're saying, okay, these guys now like work with SBU, like they're like special bureau
Hmm.
or something
Yeah.
like FBI or CIA, and they're
Yeah. More like
like
CIA. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
instead of like scamming for money, they basically call to some like I don't know elderly people or some too young, and they
Mm.
say like okay, we see they call like they're like from FSB, like from KGB. Okay, you have like
Hmm.
a suspicious transaction, and
Mm. Hmm.
you like sending money to Ukraine. You will have problems, so you need like to send it on security, kind of to us basically to the
Yes. Right.
central
Yeah.
bank. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Give us. Yeah. We want to verify your account numbers and different things. And yeah.
yeah. Um, oh,
Yeah. So
my,
so
my,
AI is already being very productive.
yeah, yes, 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 yes. And now I think Sam Altman, there's like AI porn or something erotica.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and at first they proposed, how it was sold. There's like cancer treatment and like all these new age technologies.
Right.
Treatments,
Yeah.
but still like no, I don't know, cancer cure or something.
Right.
But now we
Right.
have like AI porn. You will have AI porn.
Yeah. AI porn and now they can take our images and they can put our faces
Yeah,
and they can create porn or pictures supposedly of us. And that's another one of the scams is they threaten to release, pornographic stuff and you have to buy them, you have to pay them not to release
yeah.
uh, things that can ruin your reputation. Um, yeah, it's um,
Maybe Marco, we can wrap it up because my
yeah, yeah, this is
till
good. Yeah.
next time. Yeah.